After 12 years of marriage, I found my wife's old diary filled with pages about her ex. One entry said, "He'll never know I named our son after you." When I confronted her, she smirked and said, "It's just a name. Don't be so dramatic." So, I ordered a paternity test. 3 days later, I left the results and her diary on her parents' porch. She's been calling me every night since. I never believed I'd be posting about my failed marriage, but when your entire life turns out to be built on lies, you need somewhere to vent. All names used are placeholders for obvious reasons. 1 month ago, I discovered my 12-year marriage was a complete fraud, all because of a leather-bound journal hidden in our attic. I'm 43 and run my own architecture firm. My soon-to-be ex-wife, Lisa, is 41 and teaches high school English. There's also an 11-year-old boy named Ethan, who I was fooled into believing was my son. But I'll get to that. Last month, while Lisa was at a teacher's conference and Ethan was at baseball, I was cleaning the attic of my House 8 property I bought and paid for before we got married, with clear documentation proving it's separate property. I found a box labeled "Personal, Do Not Open," hidden behind some Christmas decorations in my own house. A box I'm not supposed to open. That raised immediate red flags. Inside was a journal. When I opened it, a photo fell out, Lisa wrapped around some guy I'd never seen before, looking all lovey-dovey on a beach. On the back, "Forever yours, M." The journal was filled with entries about this guy, Michael, mostly from before we met. Then I found an entry dated right after Ethan was born. "He's perfect. Looking at him reminds me so much of you. That's why I chose your name for him. Michael Ethan. Robert thinks we're just using your middle name because I like how it sounds. He'll never know I named our son after you. A little piece of you I get to keep forever." I read it multiple times to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding. But it was crystal clear. The boy I'd raised for 11 years was named after some ex-boyfriend I'd never even heard of, and the entry strongly suggested Ethan wasn't even mine. When Lisa got home Sunday night, I waited until Ethan was asleep before confronting her. I put the journal on the kitchen table. "What's this doing out?" she asked, her face draining of color. "Who's Michael?" I asked flatly. She hesitated, then shrugged. "An ex from college, ancient history. Is Ethan named after him?" Instead of looking guilty or apologetic, she actually smirked. "It's just a name, Robert. Don't be so dramatic." That smirk told me everything I needed to know about our marriage. "Is he Ethan's biological father?" "What? No. How could you even ask that?" "Because of what you wrote about Michael Ethan, about keeping a piece of him forever. You're taking it completely out of context." "So, I dated a guy named Michael whose middle name was Ethan. So, I like the name. It doesn't mean anything. Did you sleep with him around the time Ethan was conceived?" She stood up, knocking her chair over. "I'm not having this conversation. You're being ridiculous. Answer the question, Lisa." "No, I haven't even seen Michael since before I met you." The vehement denial might have convinced me once. "Not anymore." "I want a paternity test." "Absolutely not," she snapped. "I'm not putting our son through that just because you're paranoid about an old journal." I didn't argue further. Just walked away and slept in the guest room. Next morning, I called my lawyer, then ordered a home paternity test kit online. Getting Ethan's DNA was simple. I told him I needed to swab his cheek for a school science project. 3 days later, I had the results. Ethan is not my biological son. I wasn't even surprised at this point, just cold and determined. I made copies of the key journal pages and the test results, put the originals in a